The Hidden Empire: How London's Offshore Havens Control Global Wealth. They call it the Second British Empire. Not built on land, but on secrecy. A global web of offshore havens that moves trillions silently, invisibly, and without borders. If the City of London is a visible heart of global finance, then its offshore network is a shadow that gives it power. A network so vast, so interconnected, and so deeply embedded in the modern economy that most people have no idea it exists. But it does. From the Caribbean to the English Channel, from the Pacific to the Indian Ocean, small islands and territories, many still tied to Britain, have quietly become the vaults of the global elite. They hold corporate profits, billionaire fortunes, political wealth, and the financial skeletons of entire nations. And the surprising part is that this system wasn't an accident. It was engineered. To understand the modern world of offshore money, we have to uncover the empire Britain built after the original empire began to collapse. An empire not of land, but of law, finance, and secrecy. When the British Empire fell after World War II, it lost colonies but not influence. Britain's strategy shifted from controlling territory to controlling global capital. Former colonies and strategic islands were transformed into offshore financial centers. Jersey, Guernsey, the British Virgin Islands, Cayman, Bermuda, Gibraltar, places that became financial superpowers not because of industry or population, but because of the one thing they could uniquely offer: secrecy. A new kind of empire was emerging, one that needed no armies, no borders, and no visible presence. Offshore havens are not simply places where criminals hide money. They are sophisticated jurisdictions designed around three essential pillars: ultra-low or zero taxes, privacy and protected corporate records, and light-touch regulation that favors corporations and investment funds. Any place that offers all three becomes a magnet for global wealth. By the 1970s, London realized it could route vast flows of money through these territories while avoiding its own regulatory restrictions. The city exported financial expertise, while the havens provided anonymity. Together, they formed a financial engine of extraordinary power. The offshore mechanism works in a simple yet incredibly effective way. A corporation earns billions around the world. Instead of paying taxes where revenue is generated, profits are moved on paper to a shell company in the Cayman Islands or the British Virgin Islands. That shell transfers the money to a trust in Jersey. The trust reinvests through a fund in Bermuda. Finally, the cleaned capital returns to London's markets and banks. The money leaves one jurisdiction, disappears in another, and reappears purified. This is not a loophole. This is the business model. The scale of the offshore empire is enormous. More than $10 trillion are estimated to be held in offshore accounts. Half of all global corporate profits pass through tax havens. Over 70% of the world's hedge funds are registered in Cayman. The British Virgin Islands, with just 30,000 residents, houses over 400,000 companies, one of the greatest corporate densities on Earth. This empire is invisible in size, but colossal in influence. But there's a darker side. Offshore havens don't only attract corporations and investment funds. They attract oligarchs, dictators, criminal networks, and corrupt politicians. In this shadow system, $1 billion can vanish with a single form. A luxury skyscraper can be owned by a company with no employees. A trust can conceal wealth across generations, beyond the reach of governments. London's lawyers, bankers, and accountants design the structures. The havens provide the secrecy. Together, they make money flow in ways that ordinary citizens will never see. Then came the leaks, the moments that revealed the offshore world in unprecedented detail. The Panama Papers, the Paradise Papers, the Pandora Papers. Millions of documents exposing how the powerful use offshore networks. Politicians, billionaires, celebrities, royal families, their hidden companies, trusts, and fortunes laid bare. And yet the system barely shook. It didn't collapse because too many governments and institutions benefit from it. Offshore finance is condemned publicly yet preserved privately. It is the paradox of the modern age, a transparent world powered by a system designed for secrecy. The offshore empire is not a footnote in global finance. It is the quiet engine beneath the entire system. It shapes housing markets, corporate behavior, national budgets, electoral politics, and global inequality. Offshore networks influence everything from the price of real estate to the ability of governments to tax wealth. This isn't just about money. It's about how modern power is organized, shielded, and exercised. And at the center of this invisible empire stands London, not always seen, not always named, but always connected. In the next episode of Cinematic London Finance Chronicles, we'll dive deeper into the city itself, into the secret institutions that operate with medieval privileges, minimal oversight, and extraordinary autonomy. If you want to understand how modern power really works, you won't want to miss it. The story of money, secrecy, and global influence is only just beginning.